Don't forget to click like and subscribe to the Heavy Underground. The power of the skull compels you.
While visiting the city of San Francisco for Metallica's S&M2 concert with the San Francisco Orchestra in September of 2019, a long weekend in town led to a look at upcoming concerts during the same weekend. One show stood out at the iconic Fillmore Auditorium. Having hosted many legendary bands over the years, including the Grateful Dead, Jefferson Airplane, the Jimi Hendrix Experience, Pink Floyd, and Cream, among many, many others, a performance by the band Sunn O at this historic venue was an obvious choice. And with nothing pressing scheduled for my final night in town on September 9th, the ticket was purchased without hesitation. Continuing to shift continental wind currents in support of their latest slab of heftiness, Life Metal, released in the first half of the year, Sunn O complement their limited East Coast spring tour with a short run of dates around the western United States in the waning days of summer. Led, as always, by maestros Anderson and O'Malley, Sunn O's 2019 retinue includes longtime live adherents Oren Embarki on guitar and Steve Moore and Toss Nieuwenhuizen on an assortment of digital and analog accompaniment. Touring without the band's legendary vocalist Attila Sihar this round, the focus is on the instrumental power of the band's overpowering sonic tide. Continuing to enjoy the services of Papa M to open the second North American leg, and the addition of Montreal, Quebec's Big Brave fully rounds out the night's bill. Waiting in line to enter as Big Brave have already begun their set. A distant, muffled heaviness opens up upon entering. I missed the first 10 or so minutes of these talented Canadian soundscapers, but was bludgeoned into slow-motion submission while waiting in the venue's well-organized merch line. The band's ponderous noise fills the Fillmore's hallowed halls with an abrasive edge that punctuates the band's slow glacial movements. With one guy gatekeeping the merch area and pulling people forward one at a time, when a space at the counter opens up, I quickly picked up a t-shirt and the last display poster from the band's vendor. Turning my full attention to the final minutes of Big Brave's deftly crushing performance, the band's slyly crushing heaviness provides a fittingly abrasive open to the night. As copious amounts of classic Black Sabbath are pumped into the venue to soothe the crowd between acts, I peruse the history-laden venue. Posters from concerts gone by adorn the walls like a suit of armor throughout the various rooms and alcoves of this storied place, pondering the now mythical individuals who have traversed the Fillmore's nooks and crannies, as well as straining to hear the faintest echo of the sonic past reverberating through space and time. Downtime between bands is spent in quiet reflection and awed reverence. Taking the stage next, David Pageau's one-man sonic machine, Papa M, soon adds his echo to the space-time continuum. As a droning undercurrent gets underway, Brother Pageau's plaintive guitar picking begins to take shape. Dusty forms lift from Brother Pageau's fingers and drift through the organ-like drone. As the tone modulates, another guitar run emerges from the stage with a quicker pulse. Papa M's singular conductor takes a subdued run across the fretboard before a drum beat emerges through the background. Some slightly unsettled guitar loops pass through a phasing sonic haze as Brother Pageau begins to weave a slyly hidden guitar masterpiece into the musical space-time. Quietly discordant, the incognito noise-addicted guitar solo comes to an end as a quick and noisy electronic jolt interjects. The phasing modulation continues at a seemingly more distant depth while a stoic guitar riff slowly repeats. Slight six-string movements rise to the forefront as the rhythmic accompaniment fades into nothing. With the phasing drone finally dissipating, Papa M's David Pageau continues to strum a few more plaintive moments into the Fillmore ether as the crowd stands in rapt attention. As Brother Pageau continues to play, a sublimely subtle drone enters the atmosphere. Less a drone, more an echo, this slow drone cycle brings Papa M's performance to an end. More dark and sinister than my last brush with Papa M during Sunn O's Pittsburgh appearance in April. Rooted in a similar pattern and rhythmic flow, A Different Night almost 5 months later brings a whole other ambience to this night's rendition. While structurally similar to April, the differences offer an exploration of the maturity of this piece of music as it clearly developed over the course of the year into a subtle piece of outstanding depth and delicate intricacy. Once you strip away Big Brave's three-piece instrumental line, remove David Pageau's almost bedroom-like setup from the stage, you are left with one of the most impressive sights in all of Heavy and Loud. Sunn O's backline of doom, a series of amplifier monoliths stretching in a semicircle around the stage. Called from the depraved depths of subsonic frequencies, this line of amplifiers will soon charge the air with an overwhelming rush of heaviness. Turning on the fog machines, a haze soon fills the room as the assembled crowd awaits the arrival of the drone lords. Before long, a line of hooded figures makes their way on stage, and with one electric rush, a hefty drone joins the fog-filled Fillmore. Swampy drone churns through the air before the show comes to a sudden stop, and a series of flashing firelights precede the house lights turning on. Turns out, some local, out of concern for such a historic concert venue, called the fire department when they noticed copious amounts of fog pouring out of the Fillmore. When the band finally returns to the stage about 5 to 10 minutes later, the fog resumes. However, the Fillmore's ventilation and fan system had to be turned on full blast, which definitely diminished the effect for the duration of the show. Beginning again, the hooded drone lords retake the sonic upper hand. Rising on powerful swells of drone, Sunn O finally inaugurate the evening's ritual. Hidden squeals bellow from deep within the aural behemoth of Sunn O as each band member's instrument expands with its own distinct space before colliding in a deep and guttural distorted roar. A deft build and release as the band sets the crowd up for wave upon wave of tonal obliteration. A rising strength overtakes the drone as the hooded ones shift into higher and more elevated planes of sonic domination. Slow-moving machinations stretch into the air as the instruments surge and warble at the end of their tethers. Underlying soundscapes like a distant bellow ruminate underneath the powerfully amplified atmosphere. Subterranean emanations excavate through the thick atmosphere. A quick as molasses melodic ooze slowly rises through the distortion before being subsumed by a discordant swarm of distorted drone. As the band realigns its power to enter another phase of hypnotic enlightenment, the coven of cloaked doom maestros ride the tonal storm into another cloud bank of heavily distorted air. Swarming with intent, the power grows as Sunn O unveils a harrowing and graceful descent through a potent kinetic layer. Brimming with force, the band stridently pushes through the thickness and emerges in a cohesive wave. As Sunn O's overwhelming drone obliterates the room, distorted backwaters of sonic excess appear and pull in the barely discernible recesses of the band's mighty sound. Another tonal unification initiates another aural metamorphosis as the mighty Sunn O begin an acerbic ascent through a slightly turbulent passage before emerging into more luminous altitudes. Subtle fluctuations permeate this enlightened drone before an eerie pall fills the Fillmore as an ominous tone overtakes the proceedings. Unsettled undertones provide fertile ground for cavernous bellows and amplified tempests to roar. Building in atonal strength, the group reforms, pushing momentum forward with a determined boost as pockets of sound rise in the gentle maelstrom. Cavernous bellows rush overhead from the stage before dissipating into open space. Brother Moore's trombone cuts a majestic trajectory in the fading light while a subtle soundscape drifts in and around the fog surrounding us all. A somber yet elegant repose in the tumultuous and overpowering sonic thunder that surrounds, a chilling tone soon overtakes, with low rumbles and ominous string scrapes underlining a growing discontent in Moore's trombone. As the rest of Sunn O begin to swell around the final fleeting flutters of trombone, the hooded ones slowly muster their power as they merge around a rumbling echo as it oscillates to life. Melodic strains percolate in the sonic atmosphere but fall back into the constantly folding churns of feedback and distortion. Roars of discontent begin to seethe from the roiling mass, straining to break the overwhelming gravity, only to be submerged once again. A dissembling drone soon emerges with a warm and resonant tone taking control. Strong and mysterious shadows overtake the sound. The persistent moog offers a harmonic lilt along the underside of an increasingly foreboding sonic front. Increasing in power, with unsettled undertones adding unease, a roaring drone rises to the fore once again. Synthesizer nuance and a mid-paced phase push the performance through a cadaverously resonant space. Amongst oversized bellows of sound, a disharmonic backdrop, and an ominous crush of roaring guitars, Sunn O meld into an omnipresent and aural leviathan overtaking the San Francisco night. A rising squall reaches through the air before delving into a low and slow, steady rumble of discord to end the main set. Joining the band for an encore, Robin Watty from Big Brave and Papa M's David Pajo find their amplifiers added to the already impressive back line. As the overdriven amplifiers begin to pulse through the nighttime air, a low-key drone begins to fill the room. Alice, from the band's 2009 release Monoliths and Dimensions, closes the night. Synthesizer gently bubbles in the undercurrent, while Sister Watty's angelic voice floats above the etheric drone. Dark forms stretch and beckon in the mix as a growing intensity pushes the song into a higher vibration. A vacuous roar permeates the song's journey, adding strength and depth to the performance. A blatant discord reemerges in confident waves as the song moves with a rough determination. Sister Robin's voice gains strength to match the steady instrumental propulsion as Alice nears its end. Disassembling into the San Francisco night, Sunn O steadily unwind the song before taking their leave. Throughout the night, turbulent billows of fog pass through the shifting and changing lights to form luminescent pillars and pyramids of near tangible substance as nuanced sonic washes from Taz Neuenhuizen and Steve Moore thread the band's monolith of amplified sound. Leading wave after wave of overdriven distortion, Greg Anderson and Stephen O'Malley, the Lord and Soma to the initiated, orchestrate a continual wash of subsonic sound and subtle inflection. With Oren Embarki providing an additional 6-string boost from the stage, Sunn O weave a powerful drone expansion into the rich sonic tapestry of the Fillmore's storied history. Moving about the stage like silhouetted puppetry in a field of shifting light, the band's hooded presence only heightens the mystical effect as aural swarms rise and fall within the band's overwhelming maelstrom. Joined by Papa M's David Pajo and Big Brave's Robin Watty for an encore rendition of 2009's Alice, Sunn O sends the crowd into the San Francisco night having been vastly overpowered by the band's crushing sonic singularity. Starting the night with the full bore of Big Brave's hefty Canadian gaze already overpowering the Fillmore's storied halls, an atmospheric shift overtakes the venue as Papa M's singular offender slowly weaves a tapestry of elusive motion and restrained expansion through the San Francisco night. Having seen Papa M on Sunn O's East Coast run earlier in the year, a deft evolution is evident in David Pajo's engrossing sonic journey as an added degree of intuition and inflection is reflected in another even more outstanding performance almost 5 months past my first encounter. After our well-intentioned intervention by the local fire department, the long-heralded drone lords finally take the stage for good to lay waste to every eardrum within a 4-block radius with an overwhelming sonic power. Rising and falling in unison, the 5 members of Sunn O literally push and pull the air that surrounds us with great gusts of distortion, feedback, and droning synth. Moog pulses and acerbic washes share the air with desolate trombone as our doomed exemplars wield their overwhelming aural might for maximum effect. Throughout the night, turbulent billows of fog pass through the shifting and changing lights to form luminescent pillars and pyramids of near tangible substance as nuanced sonic washes from Taz Neuenhuizen and Steve Moore thread the band's monolith of amplified sound. Leading wave after wave of overdriven distortion, Greg Anderson and Stephen O'Malley, the Lord and Soma to the initiated, orchestrate a continual wash of subsonic sound and subtle inflection. With Oren Embarki providing an additional 6-string boost from the stage, Sunn O weave a powerful drone expansion into the rich sonic tapestry of the Fillmore's storied history. Moving about the stage like silhouetted puppetry in a field of shifting light, the band's hooded presence only heightens the mystical effect as aural swarms rise and fall within the band's overwhelming maelstrom. With Sunn O's drone dominance reverberating throughout the historic Fillmore Auditorium and into the San Francisco night, the electrified crowd disperses into the evening, bodies still humming from the band's overwhelming amplifier discharge. With a minimalist approach to maximal volume, Sunn O deliver another genuine and engrossing performance.